breaking news today.
Please subscribe and check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Over the last 8 years, the Barack Obama administration declared war on Christians and did everything he could to bend to Muslim demands in America. From the Obamas' very first Christmas season in the White House, they made sure to freeze out the Christian tradition in favor of being more inclusive to other religions including Islam. A perfect example of that would be how Obama chose to celebrate Ramadan during his time as president and even held many Iftar dinners on the White House grounds. For years, Christians were kicked to the side as Obama and liberals made a mockery of everything our country was founded on years ago. Muslims in America and around the world only became more emboldened as Obama allowed them more power and status and even went as far to say that Islam was the real religion of peace. Finally, after years of constant abuse from Obama, the American people elected Donald Trump to get our country back on track. Evidently, Muslims believed that they could keep the status quo from previous years and hoped that the White House would continue the Obama tradition of inclusiveness. Not one to ignore anyone's calls, President Trump decided to answer them the only way he knows how, and it is brilliant. For too long, the American people were made to feel ashamed for celebrating Christmas. Media pundits, politicians, and even the so-called former President of the United States, Barack Obama, lectured us for saying Merry Christmas. The White House made the conscious choice to erase it from the White House, and the Obamas even went as far as to issue holiday cards instead of Christmas cards. Then, to make matters worse, Muslims in the country were held in higher regard despite their violent backgrounds, and Christians were dismissed as racist bigots. Sensing the frustration growing, the country, Trump tapped into it and ran a campaign based on putting American values first, and he has kept his word. The first family issued their first Christmas card, and you can spot the difference between Obama's and Trump's immediately. Here is Trump's Christmas card. The very first year that the Obamas were in the White House, they began to dismantle Christmas from the White House, much to everyone's shock. Here is more from Fox News. During the first year of the Obama administration, the President and First Lady considered removing the Nativity from the White House for the sake of inclusivity. The New York Times buried that Yuletide nugget deep inside a story about then White House Social Secretary Desiree Rogers. Read it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. But Washington is a city that likes its traditions, and Miss Rogers has raised a few eyebrows by trying to bend them. When former social secretaries gave a luncheon to welcome Miss Rogers earlier this year, one participant said, she surprised them by suggesting the Obamas were planning a non-religious Christmas, hardly a surprising idea for an administration making a special effort to reach out to other faiths. The lunch conversation inevitably turned to whether the White House would display its creche, customarily placed in a prominent spot in the East Room. Miss Rogers, this participant said, replied that the Obamas did not intend to put the manger scene on display, a remark that drew an audible gasp from the tight-knit Social Secretary sisterhood. A White House official confirmed that there had been internal discussions about making Christmas more inclusive and whether to display the creche. Yet in the end, tradition won out. The executive mansion is now decorated for the Christmas holiday, and the creche is in its usual East Room spot. Yes, good readers, Barack and Michelle Obama wanted to mark their first Christmas in the White House by tossing the baby Jesus out of the building. For a number of years, the White House decorations were more pet-centric than Jesus-centric. Well, President Trump does celebrate Christmas, and he pledged that he would bring it back in a big way once elected to the White House. It is apparent that the entire Trump family feels the same way, since Melania and Barron Trump helped organize a Christmas tour of the White House for all Americans to enjoy. The White House tour program features an animated Barron Trump guiding the tree-pulling carriage and is shown in various Christmas scenes around the White House, like the ones pictured below. There is no doubt that Christmas is in full swing at the White House, and First Lady Melania Trump is enjoying decorating the grounds for all of us to enjoy. First Lady Melania Trump enjoyed spending time with the children decorating the White House and making everyone feel right at home. The children who came to the White House to help decorate were taken aback by the First Lady's graceful demeanor and stunning good looks. One child even exclaimed, "She looks like an angel." And it is not hard to see why. And, it is not just the inside of the White House that is being decorated for the Christmas holiday season. Even the outside of the grounds are getting a dose of Melania's touch, and wreaths can be seen hanging from the White House windows. This is quite the change from the Obama administration, but a welcomed one. For too long we were told to push aside our time-honored traditions such as celebrating Christmas since they offended others like Muslims. Now, these Muslims can do either one of two things if they wish to stay in America. They can begin to assimilate into our culture and traditions, or they can leave and go back to wherever they came from. The time of political correctness is over, and it is about damn time. Follow us on Facebook at Freedom Daily.